Hi, welcome to my channel Intuitive Fortune. My name is Yael. Today I want to talk to you about building a vision and about little behaviors that you and me do that block us from seeing a vision. So for the longest time, I thought that I really need to have a grand vision, an epiphany, something that is completely magical, like a lightning hitting me and thinking, oh, now I know exactly how I want my life to look like. I used to turn to astrologers, to psychics to help me with this kind of strike of lightning. I usually would turn to them when I would feel extremely insecure, extremely not knowing what to do, so in a very uncomfortable place. However, what I learned lately from working with a life coach and from working with other people that are blocked is that it's not about creating a grand vision. It's about looking at our lives right now and seeing little behaviors that can be changed. Sometimes by taking little steps to better our whole life in matters of health, the appearance of our house, our own appearance, our relationship with children, relationship with family, relationship with money, relationship with fear, relationship with commitment. When we look at all of these things and start creating, building and positive actions as opposed to automatic actions, suddenly a vision can start to formulate. But the vision is formulated from the ground up, as opposed to a lot of the methods that teach that it has to come from above and kind of pave the way there. The reason that might not work for many is because, let's say there's a vision, right? You know what? I'll give an example. I met today with a woman that belongs to my artist collective. And I tried something new with her. For the longest time, I wanted to have an accountability partner in my creative life. I wanted to bounce ideas with someone. And only lately, I started realizing that I can bring it into my life. And I offered her, not directly, but indirectly, I stated to the group that this is what I want, that I want an accountability partner to push through blocks in creativity. And Mary, she said yes, that she was really interested. So I met with her today and we both talked about what we want to accomplish, where we feel blocked and stuff like that. Now, what I learned through coaching her and working with her, when it was her time to talk and what was my time to listen to her and to give her my observations, was that she blocked herself, or she got blocked due to some of her anxiety or wrong thinking. So she's a very talented photographer. She takes amazing photos of herself, which are published but not published in the right way. And she has in her mind that she wants to take photos for others. However, when she gets to the point of photographing others, she gets a lot of anxiety to the point that she doesn't want to do it. She started processes with a few people and she stopped it because she felt insecure. She felt all of a sudden that she technically is not good, even though she went to a very good school for photography and she takes stunning images. She felt blocked. So while talking to her, I realized that, first, we don't need to serve people or work with people or photograph people for the sake of expansion or for the sake of doing service to other people. We need to find a way to not lose ourselves in the relationship with working with other people, because that is what happened to her. She lost herself because she gave too much of her creative voice to the other people. The problem was that she was working in a method that she would meet with them, they would talk, they would create art together, where they would create a vision, they would pull oracle cards, and together they would build some sort of fantasy, and then the attempt to match the photographs later to the fantasy would give her so much anxiety that she just didn't want to do it. So I suggested to her that she should use the same confidence as an artist, as a photographer, when she takes her own pictures to when she works with others. In other words, she should be telling the people that come to her to trust her, and by that she trusts herself, that she is going to tell a story through them, a vulnerable story, and she would take them to the right places, to the right poses, and if they like the work that she does, she would do the same for her. And all of a sudden she would, like in our conversation, she said, yes, that's it. That's what happened. I lost myself. So that's an example of why it might not be good to go from the grand vision or from the thing that sounds good to the bottom. It's better to work from the ground up to see what is blocking us and how we can unblock that. And let's say she does do that, but still she doesn't feel good with taking photographs with other people or for other people, because she likes the full creative control. So in that case, taking photos of herself, teaching others how to take photos of themselves, that is the solution in her case. The reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I feel like as creators, as artists with grand visions, these are my favorite people to talk to. I love people that are creative and that want to create something that is not yet existing in your reality. But the issue is that there is some sort of defense mechanism. There's a defense on an idea, something that we want to keep to ourselves, and not trusting other people to understand it, or worse, that they would harm our idea that is so precious. It's kind of like our life force. We don't want to expose it to others. So if you feel that you resonate with this, if you have a vision, but something blocked you, every time you do something, or you get to build a website, or you want to think about products, or you want to apply to a certain job, or you have some issue that is recurring and that is creating a block in fulfilling a greater flow, then I want to invite you to, first of all, write me in the comments. And I'm also conducting an experiment with a few people, and I want to invite you if you want to join. Basically, I'm looking for people that want to have sessions with me, creative sessions, where I ask you the right question and help you unblock yourself to create opening in your way. So I'm not charging for this. This is something that I want to do in order to expand my own business. If you want to do that with me, write it in the comments. And in part of this is also to be willing to be filmed or recorded through Zoom. If you're willing and it seems like fun to you, just write me. And also, if you don't want to be recorded, you can write me and we'll do it as a service. I have my own website. You can just click on there, click on one of the options, and we will make something work for you. Now, circling back to why working with our automatic behaviors and making more committed behaviors or more positive reactions to things can help with creating a grander vision. First of all, it brings the power back to us. It brings the power back to our creative thinking. It is a hard process to identify automatic behavior and do something different. We need a lot of brain power to think about, okay, what else could I do when I am faced with difficulty, when I'm faced with challenge? So that's the first thing that happens when we face this process of changing automatic behaviors is, I don't want to deal with this, it's a headache, right? Which is also an automatic behavior that keeps us stuck. But I'm just sharing with you that it's a process. It's not so easy. However, when we realize that we can change something, and when we actually change, there is a release of so much positive energy. And when we create positive little changes in our lives, we get to a very uplifted vibration. And from that vibration, we can choose better our direction or our goals. It's so fun to have these moments of, it's possible, thinking that something is possible when up until that moment you felt it is impossible, that you're blocked, that like nothing can move in that route. So even in the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, it's about how to get rich and that there's a science to it. He speaks about there's no real reason for a person to change routes, okay? Start where you are. There is no occupation. There is no choice that is not possible for you to get rich from. It's about doing things in a certain way. And that certain way is giving a lot of value, more value to others than what they paid for. And another thing is that he wrote another book, it's The Science of Excellence, the science of being good in something. And that ties beautifully to the idea of committed actions or actions of excellence or creative solutions to our automatic behaviors. The idea of being great, a lot of people talk about it, but when you experience it in your real life, you'll realize how wonderful it is to do things in a great way. It starts with little things, the way you organize your linen closet, the way you see something dirty in a place that you are and you lift it up. Things that you do sometimes when nobody sees, or even better, things that you do for yourself. The way you prepare your clothes in the morning or the night before for you. The way you set up the dental floss. These are also examples that I did for myself. When I listed my automatic behaviors, I listed 200. One of them was like, I know that I should use dental floss, but I don't. Okay? I know every time that I brush my teeth, I think maybe it crosses my mind. So one of my committed behaviors was to just put the toothpicks that have the dental floss, just to place them next to my toothbrush, and as a goal to floss every night. And guess what? It's now a lot easier for me to floss. I flossed every night because it's in my awareness. I already committed to it when I wrote about it, when I talked about it. And it's so simple. I think when we see things or when we don't do things that we know we should do or we could do, that not only not pushes us forward, it brings us back. So the path of excellence is also slowing down and, not spilling the coffee on the way to your award. It's about being mindful also for our steps, our coffee. We spill the coffee to clean it. Different things that are important as a way of living in excellence. So I want to sum up this video with another story that I want to share regarding physical activity and creative solutions. So since I moved to Monterey, this is where I live right now in Northern California, I thought that the yoga here sucks, okay? I thought it's a small place, everybody's old, and I tried a few studios. I tried like 3. And, I did memberships to 2 of them. I used to go to 2. One is hot yoga, like Bikram yoga, and the other one was more vinyasa style. But I didn't really feel like it's for me. I didn't feel like a total connection and devotion like I would like to in terms of progress and in terms of physical advancement. Not that these studios have anything wrong with them. They do have amazing teachers and amazing facilities. However, my feeling in them wasn't what I wanted. Now, what I realized with myself is that I just stopped looking when I found something that is okay. I gave up on trying to find something great. I gave up on trying to find something excellent. And in my automatic behaviors and the committed behaviors that I wrote that I want to find a good teacher. I want to find a good yoga teacher in a yoga studio. And I started researching, and I found a studio that was previously recommended to me by a neighbor. It was a few months ago, but I thought that studio is small, and she's old, and probably a lot of old people will go to that. But with this new approach that I had, I said, I'll just try it. I'll try it. What could be wrong? And next thing I know, I come to a stunning studio. I never seen such a studio like this around here. Big windows, everything is new and renovated with light green colors and light wood. The teacher was good, the session was good, and I just felt like the sky is opening for me on that day. Not because, the level of the yoga or the beautiful studio itself, it was more like a deep appreciation of myself that I took the extra step that I usually wouldn't do. I became so lazy with my commitments and saying no when I got committed. Let's say I started going to these 2 yoga studios that I told you that I did in the past. What I couldn't do at any point was to tell them I want to cancel my membership. I just got so lazy of having the habit of going there and not being totally fulfilled that I just stuck to that habit. And worse, I was really happy when my memberships got canceled because I switched credit cards. So I was like, oh, thank God I don't need to deal with that. But that is before I did all of this work with myself. Because what I would do now is actually cancel when I don't want to go somewhere and face maybe some negative emotion or resistance. Because a lot of times to move forward, we need to be willing to face some sort of resistance. So if you like what I'm sharing, and you want to talk to me, you want to work together, and you want to do the same for you, then please let me know. I would love to hear from you. And circling back to the art and artist and unblocking, I think it's more than unblocking your artist career or your artist path for those of you that are artists or creators or creating businesses, or wanting to do a new thing in the world. It's more than just that of the ego. It's about allowing the creative flow and trusting yourself that if you were placed with a certain idea, that you have the desire and the pull to go to a certain direction, that you need to trust yourself that you could do it and work on unblocking little things, little resistances on the way, get more clear on where you want to go in the process, and you can do it. You're unlimited. Nobody knows what you can achieve. Nobody knows and can predict what you can do with yourself with the right mindset. So thank you so much. Bye.